Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to our Get AstroLogic Now YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about the outer planets. In Vedic astrology, the outer planets generally are not used. They're not a part of the system, but I find, coming from a long background of Western astrology, that they work. And that was one of my hardest decisions, to try to give up the outer planets with Vedic astrology. I couldn't. So what I call myself now is a neo-Vedic astrologer, meaning that I use the Vedic principles, but I include the outer planets. Now, the outer planets, the way that I look at them is terms of their hard aspects to one another. So we're going to be talking about that. But first we want to talk about what they mean, because when they came into being, into our culture, into our world, is whatever they rule or represent came into the consciousness or the awareness in planet Earth. So let's start with planet Uranus, which was discovered in 1781. And what came into being during that time was inventions. The cotton gin was invented, and machinery. Everything started from that point on, cars and vehicles. All of this came about from the entrance of the discovery of Uranus. And Uranus deals with sudden, unexpected events, explosions, and awareness, and in consciousness. Now, the next planet that I want to talk about, when it came into being, is Neptune. Neptune came into our being and awareness in 1846. And during this time, there was this discovery of photography. Then we started the silent movies, and what Neptune rules is things we can't see. It makes the unreal look real. So that's what photography is all about. But it's about illusion, and sometimes Neptune can deal with deception, things we can't see, the fog. But it deals with glamour, and all sorts of wonderful things came about from the movie era, and the use of makeup and glamour and Hollywood. So that's all around Neptune. Pluto came into discovery around 1930. And guess what Pluto's about? Explosive transformational events, because what came about with its discovery was atomic energy. And during the time of World War II, of course, we had the atom bomb, and Pluto deals with dictatorships and things that deal with control and manipulation. So during that time, around the 30s, we had World War II. So we had dictators such as Hitler, Mussolini came into being. And also don't forget the mafias, the Italian mafias that were so destructive throughout that era, throughout America, but particularly in Chicago. So you can see how these brought into the mass consciousness. That's what the outer planets do. They really rule the mass consciousness and what's going on at a global level. So as I said before, we're going to be looking at their aspects, their hard aspects to each other. This is how you can really see the trends going on globally throughout the world. And just to give you an example, the outer greatest planets, where Pluto and Neptune, they come together approximately every 124 years. But what this is hard aspect, that is, they come together for a conjunction every 492 years, but they make a hard aspect every 124 years. So that means the conjunction, the square, the opposition, the square, and the conjunction. It's very much like the phases of the moon. If you consider this, the conjunction is like a new moon. Then we have the waxing square. Then we have the opposition, which is like a full moon. Then we have the waning square, and then we have the conjunction. So these are the hard aspects: conjunction, square, and opposition. So looking at that, around the turn of the century was when these two planets were together last, 1888. And this was the time of the discovery of the Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky, Emerson, Thoreau, all of these greats brought spiritualism to the world. And believe it or not, when you parties, they had all these seances going on. They were very much attuned to spirit, and that's what those brought about. But the most powerful conjunction and opposition and square is with Uranus and Pluto. We have that going on currently right now. The last times this happened was around the time of the turn of the century in the 1880s, and then we have it during the 1930s, which was the time of the Depression. Then in the 60s, we have this massive explosion of breakdown of the controls that rule the world, such as, the civil rights and the assassinations that happened throughout the 60s. This was a part of this. And come to the period of now, between 2011 and 2015, now we have Pluto square Uranus. And what that has brought about is the breakdown of massive governments and controls and manipulations. We see it happening right now in the Ukraine and Russia. We have this going on in America right now, in Chicago, in the Midwest, with the breakdown and fighting against authority and breakdown of the controls of our nation. And if you also look at what's been going on in the Middle East, so you see Pluto is transformation, Uranus is the breakdown of the controls that have dictated and dictatorship of our society. So I wanted you to understand just for a brief moment why the events are happening right now and what's to come in our future using the transits of the outer planets. Thank you. And with this, I'd like to close. If you are interested in a reading by me, you can go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Thank you.